Hi, I'm Amy Fox. Some of you and I have met, some of us we've only seen each other online. Some of you have asked about doing Easter rocks, which I am doing for my Green Valley group. We're trying to do enough to give to an elementary school. So I thought I'd do a quick tutorial on a couple of really easy ones that look super fab and I thought you would enjoy. I am stealing inspiration from Helen Hobbs Nix. Let me see if I can turn this around. Okay, I can't. So I have to show you. This is what she had posted. Let's see. Oh, there we go. She said his name is Humphrey. So I don't know. I don't know where he comes from. But when I painted mine, I thought, man, these are super cute and fairly easy. And I thought people might want to know how to do that one and this one. Both super easy. So I'm going to set this up and here we go. I'm going to have it pointed at my painting space. Hopefully this is going to work. All right. So you're not going to see me, I hope, and you are going to see. Okay. I just pre-painted some rocks with white background paint because it makes it smooth and clean. And we're gonna do Humphrey first. He is much easier than he looks. So on your rock, if you want to draw, some people like to draw first. I don't usually do it, but I will for the sake of this demonstration. The first shape you need for Humphrey is his head, the lower part of his head, and then up to his eyes, which kind of looks like an onion. So you make a round bottom of his head and bring it in very tight to an onion kind of neck. Can you see that? I think you can. All right. And then from the onion neck, we're going to swoop and swoop, technical terms, you'll learn to use those too, and give him big old floppy ears that sprout out of the top and go like this. Let's see. All right. So, and then it goes back like this. And this one swoops over here. And they're just big floopy swoopies. Like that. Okay, well, I'm not very good at this. Where did my rock go? Anyway, all right, so that's the idea. You basically have a big old onion shape for the head. So it's a big fat round bottom and a skinny little neck because we're going to have the bottom of his face, the skinny little neck that will have the eyes on it, and then the floopy ears. Easy enough, right? So, and then at the bottom, you want those two little round, little chubby little good grief, rabbit kind of cheeks, like so. And where those two circles kind of come together, we just give it a line across the top, and that gives us the top of his nose. See, there's an arc between the two. And then you need to bring his nose up towards the neck of the body. So kind of a big triangle. Easy enough, right? And then on the neck is where we're going to have these two eyes. So we're going to draw two ovals that overlap the neck but stick out past the neck, if that makes any sense. Okay? All right. Now the fun part about this guy is this watercolory look without using watercolors. You can of course do this with any colors you want. So I'm going to just take some of my what blue are you? Oh, well, I've painted over the name. Well, anyway, so it's kind of a navy-ish, bluish, you know, more royal, I guess. And I'm going to put some on my wax paper here. Can you see that? Let's make sure. There we go. And then I'm going to take Oh, right. I want to get some of the pink ready. So I got some of this really fuchsia pink. Actually, it's called Diva Pink, which is even cuter. So I'm going to put that on my little palette. And I like a nice bright yellow, which is not surprisingly called bright yellow. So then put some of the bright yellow there. That's good. Now I'm using just a medium brush. You don't want anything too big, but you don't want it too sloppy either. So you don't want too much floof. This is an okay brush as well. You get it into your water, so it's really, really wet, and then really thin some of your paint. Like that. And then you're just going to kind of splotch it on in a couple different places. And before it dries, rinse out your brush and do the same thing with some of the pink. Do it again with some of the yellow. And you do want it watery because you want it to kind of bleed into each other to make it look watercolory. Okay. And his chin needs some yellow down here just because I think his chin needs some yellow there. Keep the circles, those circles that we drew for his cheeks, we want to keep them white. And we will be painting the triangle of his nose, but till we do that, we're just going to kind of gently put in some of this watercolory pink up that triangle of his nose. And just keep kind of putting some of your colors down. And if it looks too dry or if it's too wet, go ahead and dry off your brush on a little cloth or paper towel. So see, we're just adding little bits here and there. And we may be going back kind of with some water to give it that real watercolor feel to it. So then with just clear water on your brush, you can kind of gently blend things. Don't cover up those circles. Don't mix your colors too much or you lose the watercolor effect of them, okay? And you can take a cloth or a paper towel and daub things off a bit so that you maintain those light brushy colors. And then take that wet brush and do some more, kind of on top of what you've got there. And don't worry if you get some paint over where his those white cheek balls are, because we'll paint over those with white to make sure they're nice and clear. Try not to drop your brush in your paint. That makes for a big mess. So, and you just work at it a little bit till you feel like you've got the effect you want that has some color, but a lot of water. And if things look too solidy, just get it wet. And then put some color over it and let it do its bleeding. So you put some water on. And then some of that just really watered down paint and let it bleed. You can even put like a drop of water on it and let it run and then daub it off at the bottom. Okay. So you're getting the feel for his face. Come on. There we go, Humphrey. Good boy. And just adding some little bits of paint. Again, we don't want it too dark because you want it to have that watercolor effect. All right. And again, if you get your fingers in it, and spread it around. Oh well, no big deal. We'll paint over with white. All right, so that's at least a start here. Now with that bright pink, where it isn't all wetted down, where it's very solid, you're gonna paint that triangle nose of his right there, like that. That's solid. We don't want that one watercolory because we want to be able to see it. Okay. And then got to get to his black eyes are part of what makes him so endearing. So just take some jet black and a little tiny brush because we're going to fill in these two ovals that we made for his eyes. So we're not making it thin, we're going to fill in the ovals of his eyes. So paint your circle. And you can do this with pens as well. Not the watercolory effect as much. It's harder anyway. But like filling in the eyes and all those kinds of things, you can do that with pens if you like. So you get the eyes done and filled in. He's already starting to have some personality here. Right, there we go. We're going to let those dry, okay? And then if you see anything where you feel like you want a little bit more color or you know, that watercolor effect, just paint it in and add it. All right. So far, so good? All right. So now, before we do any of our outlining or the finishing touches, I'm going to go ahead and take some pure white and kind of clean up around him and on those round circles that we did for his cheeks so that he's all nice and bright again. So I'm going to clear up his little bally cheeks there. There we go. See, nice and white, nice and white. And I also kind of made a mess around his ears and things, so I'm just going to run some white there just to make him nice and clean on the edges. Okay. If you had any runs, you just cover them right up. Acrylic paint is like that. You can cover up mistakes in a heartbeat and redo, and nobody ever has to know you had a problem at all. Oh yeah, we ran off your cheek there, didn't we, Humphrey? All right. So, and acrylic paint also dries incredibly quick, which is really handy for things like this where we're kind of making some repairs and getting ready to do some other work, and we don't want to wait too long because I'm impatient. So we got another coat of white over all the stuff that we wanted to be white, and you can see him there. Now, one of the things that makes your paintings of animals, well, really people too, is this little spot of white in the eye that is the reflected light. And you just put a little tiny dot, not in the center. You kind of want where the light might reflect off of it. So we got that little bitty dot in the middle of his eyes. Okay. And then, this is a little quick here because I don't want to bore you forever, but we're going to do some edging on him. You can see that it's kind of scribbly scrabbly. It's not a real nice straight solid line, and we don't want it to be. I use a Posca pen, extra fine, and I'm going to do that here, even though I may run into some trouble where some of that paint may still be a little wet. So we'll see. But when you're making your outlining lines, you don't want them to be a straight line. you want to give it a furry, shaggy look. So if you can, come on, pen, kind of make it sort of a jiggly line, but you do want to kind of go around that whole side, okay? You also want to do this on the sides, so it's almost a scribble, and it doesn't matter if you stay in the color or not. Let's stuck my finger in the white there, woo, and in the pink there. I'm a colorful girl. Anyway, so you're kind of scrabbling, which is a lot easier if your paint is dry. And you outline the whole exterior of him, you know, his ears and the outside of his head. Okay, you seeing that? I'm not positive you can see it. I hope you can. It gives him a very homespun look because it looks like shaggy fur. It's kind of homespun and very sweet. So we do that all the way around his ears. Again, much easier when your paint is really dry, which my white is not because I wanted to clean it up. So I'm just not maybe going to do as much as I might, but you can see how his ears are done now. There we go. See how his ears are kind of scribbled. And then got to get it around his head too. So we got to kind of make it nice and shaggy and scribbly around his face. And it's okay that it's not a dark straight line. We don't want it dark or straight. You want it to be just kind of shagger. My pen is burping a lot of paint out. Not good, but we'll be all right. All right, now we are going to outline those white cheek balls that we had, and that can be just sort of a sketched in line. Doesn't have to be real dark, doesn't have to be real perfect, just a little hint of that's where that is. And between them you do want to see that line and a triangle below, which is kind of where his mouth is hiding in all that fur and stuff. So we kind of do that right there. There you go. And we're going to go ahead and do a light line up the line of where his nose kind of disappears into his face. So we give it a little bit of a line. And you can see, even though my lines are really kind of lousy, it doesn't matter. It's supposed to look very hand-drawn, and it does. And then we're going to give him some spots for whiskers, not too many, and not from every spot, but from some of the spots we're going to just draw a little whisker. And always start from the spot and work your way out, because the whisker gets thinner and thinner the further out it goes. Okay, so you just have a couple of whiskers, nothing too much. Don't want to get carried away. All right. And now comes the super fun part that really gives him just, I think, the most fun and the best part. And hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing with this. All right. So, oops, there we go. All right, so right here, let's see. All right, so we've got our Humphrey. So now we're going to take kind of if you have a nice stiff bristle brush, which I had put out and have now lost, so I'll have to find another one. Let's see. Well, where are all my stiff bristle brushes? Smoke them if you got them. Let's see. Well, I had put it out. I probably knocked it onto the floor. That's a favorite habit of mine. However, pretty sure I've got more. I haven't left you. Hold on. I've only got about 50. There we go. Okay, this one will do. So this is a pretty stiff brush. And I'm going to dab it so that I'm dabbing in the thick part of the paint and then in the wet. So I'm not streaking it back and forth. I'm just dab, dab, dab. And then this is the fun part. Hold it over, and then take a pen or another brush or something, and you're going to hit it. So you want to be a good 6 inches above it and give it a whack. And that will make these paint spots splotchy. And then rinse it out. And if you're finding that you're not getting quite enough splotch, you need a bit more water. Okay, so now I'm going to get some pink and do the same thing. Again, about 6 inches above or so, give it a whack. That one might be a little too wet because I got some big splashes. Oh well. And then a little bit of yellow too. And that is your watercolor Humphrey. Super fun, super easy, and really cute. Thanks for watching.